Hello, hello, hello. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome in. My name is Josh. It's Gaming Joy Channel, and we are back on Judith Plains. I'm actually been in a farm sim mood for the past couple weeks, playing four different playthroughs. It's insane. I'm like totally in a farm sim mood. I'm going to try to keep that going and try to actually develop some mods and get them out to you guys. But let's get going on Big Sky, Big Dreams on Judith Plains here on Farm Sim 25. Welcome in, everybody. How's it going, Bruce? Thanks for being here. Thanks for coming in. We're back. Let's turn that music down. Although I love that song, let's turn that music down. Anyways, welcome in. We're back on the farm. We're on the same day, actually. And we're on the same day because, well, we didn't get very much done because of the mowing. But we've made some money. We have some money coming in and out. I think this money is actually down a lot because I spent a lot of money to move that stupid sawmill. But yeah, whatevs. We're going to go ahead and buy something that I've been meaning to buy for a while. This is kind of like the final vehicle I want to buy for this playthrough. We're doing big American farming. It just makes sense that we add a big bud to that repertoire, right? It really does. We have Michelin and Big Bud, that's it. And we want we want the big wide tires. Because, well, why the F not? We'll add that in there. And we'll add tinted windows slightly for whatever reason. Overhead work lights. We'll turn on all the lights except for the beacon lights. I can't stand beacon lights. We're going to change the decorative stripes to black. That seems cool. Logos. Ooh. We can do like a black on black logo. That actually might look kind of good. Let's do that. And then we're going to change this to our standard hella matte black. We're going to make a hella matte black truck. Railing, we'll just do that a dark gray. Select the chromed parts. We'll also do a dark gray because, yeah, why not? Engine grill is fine at that black. The rim contour, we're going to do as Case IH red because I think that's what I want. Yes. We're going to add a little bit of Case AH in there. Not much. And then we're going to do that. So we have just like that. Just a little bit of Case IH in our repertoire to match it. And yeah, boopity boopity boop. We have an 1100 horsepower. Hold on. Wiper washer. What's a wiper washer? Oh no, I don't need that. We have an 1100 horsepower Big Bud. I mean, you got to, right? You got to. We're gonna buy that. We're not gonna get the double duals because that's just silly. I like the regular big tires because if you get them too wide, then you can't move around anywhere. My farm isn't that wide. Right? It's wide, but it's not that wide. Anyways, Big Bud in the house. Let's go look at it. Oh, I love the black on black logo. And the black stripes. And the black stripe is actually not black. It's black with a hint of red in it. So my little hint of red on the rims looks fantastic. Ooh, that looks killer. All right. Well, welcome in, everybody. McGarrett, welcome in. Thanks for being here. McPhil McLaughlin, thanks for coming in. And thanks for being here, everybody. So let's kind of catch up to see where we were. Last stream, which was Sunday. Now, if you missed the Sunday stream, I totally understand. We'll just do a quick review. What we did on Sunday was we mowed this field. This field that we're at right here, we mowed the whole thing. And there was a lot of mowing that happened. It took almost the entire stream. We didn't even finish it. That's how much mowing there was. There was a lot. And we're going to come in here and get the big ass plow. So we have the flex coil. I actually edited the flex coil plow because I wanted it to be a plow and not a cultivator. Quick minor edit, no big deal. But yeah, so we mowed this thing, and if we go into... Okay, I still use the console commands. If we go into flight mode, you can see there's a big open area here, which is where the sawmill was. Now, the sawmill was right there. And as you can see, we painted in some grass, and then we mowed the grass, so we're going to get the same kind of fertilization state once we plow this thing. But now this is nice, one big, long, continuous field. I like it. I think it's kind of what I was looking for. It's kind of what I felt that I wanted, but wasn't able to do because the sawmill was there. Yes, that's right, Bruce. The one you have plows and makes it look cultivated, and it does that, but I don't want it to look cultivated. I want it to look plowed. So I removed the cultivated part. And so we took the sawmill that was right here and just moved it up here at the top of the hill. I didn't really, I mean, I changed it, but I didn't really change it. It's essentially the same layout, essentially. But I kind of just like tucked it in at the forest. So you come up this long dirt road, which is careful because it's off camber in a few places. So you got to come up a long dirt road all the way up here. And then you come in here to the split. The split was already there. And then you have these two roads to go off on the sides. Those were already there. And then all I did was add in this other road entrance here. And then I took out a bunch of trees on the top and I flattened it out. And we have the same sawmill that was there before. Now the sawmill is actually, you can look at it when you're not in flight mode and getting stuck in cars. It's actually the sawmill from the European map. There was a logo covering this. I forgot to move it over. I'll have to deal with that later. But this sawmill fits perfectly. Like these two roads, I didn't touch the roads at all. They actually fit. The sawmill fit perfectly between the two dirt roads that were already here in this forest. I didn't touch the roads at all. All I did was flatten an area in the middle, plop down this whole thing as a single placeable. And then the only other thing I adjusted was this drop zone for the wood. Now it's a very much bigger drop zone for the wood. And then I set it up so that the pallets don't all spawn together. They spawn separately. So we have planks and boards and planks and wood beams and prefab walls and sawdust all spawn as pallets. And they each spawn in their own zone. This was actually a big pain in the butt to do because I want them to be facing the right direction, and you can't, Giants doesn't allow you to turn the angle of pallets when they're spawning, which is kind of dumb, but whatever. I just did it and fixed it and made it work. So this is the new location of the sawmill. I like it. I think it's pretty cool. This map isn't really a sawmill-y kind of map, because most of the trees on this map are like not sawmill ready trees. Like as you can see, there's these trees right here, these pines, which are crappy pines anyways. But those are the only trees on the entire map that are like you could actually cut with a tree harvester, or just these pines. And there's not very many of them. Like they're dotted here and there, right? And I could clear out this whole forest of those things, but I don't want to be doing that. That's just silly to me. I didn't play this map for doing forestry. If I want to do forestry, I'll play a forestry map. I played this map for big, huge fields. And from this vantage point, I can't even get the whole field in one view. I'll have to back up a little bit. So basically what you can see here between these two fields up against the hill is where we're going to make our new field. And that's what we're going to do today. So let's turn off flight. Let's turn off the big bud. So I don't need it right now. What I do need is this tractor, right, which had the roller for now. And this is how I like to make fields. Now, this is kind of something I've kind of formed over time as my favorite way to create fields. And I did it actually, hold on. And I'll just go into the construction mode because it's easier. But as you can see in construction mode, we already made this big field here. That big kind of oven mitt sized field, that's going to be prairie grass, which is already starting to grow. And this is a new prairie grass, which we haven't seen yet, or we kind of demoed last time. But I already made this field and I use this pattern, so I know that it works. So what we're going to do is, this is my favorite way to make fields. What we're going to do is we're going to use Dom's plow, the SP 10M, I think, 10 meters, 10M, which is this plow right. It's right here. Lizard SP10M. This one right here. I don't use the Unreal one. I could if I wanted to. This one has a mulching setting. I don't really care. I just use this regular plow. But my absolute favorite part about this plow is the fact that, now I'm going to start right up here because this is where I want to start. The fact that it works when it's folded. That's my favorite part, honestly. The fact that it works when it's folded. Now I need to change the setting. That's not what I wanted. Hold on. I just put this plow down, turn on create fields, and go. And I'm only creating just about the width of the tractor. But the reason I like creating a field like this and I like plowing like this, and of course this would work with a regular plow, but because it's so tight to the tractor, as I navigate around corners, it's not like swinging wide. It's not like cutting anything that I don't want it to cut. It's just plowing, and it does it gently. It does it without like kind of causing too much havoc or issues. It just works. And this is easily my favorite way to draw an outline for a new field. Now technically, actually, technically we should be recording. So let's record. Right. So I'm going to record a new track for courseplay. And so that means that once we're done making the outline, we can actually use courseplay to do all the body of the plowing, and we can do other stuff. And we're also going to need to add some other pieces to the field. We're going to need to plant it. We're going to need to seed it. We're going to need to roll it. We're going to need a course. So for the initial plowing stage, so that you can use the workers to plow a new field, we record a courseplay course like this. And that's how you do it. So you just hit record. I have this on, but I don't really need it on. This is the actual width of the whole plow, but I don't really need that right now. And then we're going to plow this field, and we'll do the big outline, and we'll see what it looks like. And then we're going to do one more lap with this plow, but with this plow open. And then we will get the big bud in here to start plowing for real. And as you can see, I am leaving a bit of a gap between the edge of the field and kind of what's there already on the map. Just because I'm trying to smooth out the contours of the outside of this field. I'm not going to follow the outside part exactly. And I also want there to be some gap for turning around and stuff like that. But yeah, thank you very much for the Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everyone else here as well. Welcome in, Dust Bunny. Thanks for coming along. Now, this is also one of the few times when I'm playing Farm Sim and I'm doing a very slow task that I don't speed up and use the real speed limit mod to make myself go faster. Because this is like a detail thing. Like, it's like you're tracing around something with a pencil and you want to make sure you get good lines, right? You can't do this again. To do this again, I would have to reload my save and have to go through the whole thing of buying the big bud. I probably should have saved before I started plowing, but whatever, we'll make it work. Welcome everybody, thanks for being here. Dust Bunny, I want to say that your little playthrough, I've seen you on multiple live streams now, playing with other people on Bearhaven. And I have to say that I never really gave Bearhaven by Swiggles that much of a look at all. I saw that it was a really small island and that the focus of it was that he kind of created a kind of custom fishing thing with boats on another map that wasn't the Giants Highlands fishing experience. And I saw a quick map tour of it and I was like, yeah, it's kind of basic, no big deal. I didn't really think about it. And so I kind of just didn't give that map a second look. But then I was seeing Dust Bunny playing on some live streams with a few folks, playing on Bearhaven and having a grand old time. And having a grand old time on a map that I had passed over, and it made me take a second look at it. So thank you, Dust Bunny, for making me take a second look, because I've been playing it on my own and very much enjoying something different. There's a bunch of cool little small new things on Bearhaven that are actually interesting gameplay elements. And I think should be highlighted. You know, like there's a ton of breakable rocks. And there's not just breakable rocks that output stone, but there's breakable limestone rocks that output lime. And there's also palm trees, which have been created as breakable trees. And you use the jackhammer on them, which is actually kind of cool. It's kind of a cool like gameplay element, and you use the jackhammer on them and you break apart a tree with a jackhammer and it outputs wood chips, and it outputs a significant amount of wood chips. So you destroy a pine tree and you get like 8,000 liters of wood chips, like between 8 and 12,000 liters of wood chips, which is like, whoa, that's a lot. Okay, and then we're going to leave some space with the hemp field. And so I've been just messing around, having some fun. And then I also got a couple of Squiggles' other mods, which provide some other ways of jackhammering and some other ways of picking up those wood chips using his street sweeper to pick up the wood chips, which is actually kind of fun. And I resurrected an old playthrough that I had with some Alice Chalmers mods that I almost never get to play with, but I very much enjoy playing with. So thank you very much, Dust Bunny, for helping me take another look at Bearhaven. It's actually pretty interesting. I did see your comment, Second Chance. Give me 1 second. So yeah, that's the other news for today, or yesterday. The 2 mods that I submitted right around my birthday, it was my birthday present to everyone else, were finally released. They were in testing for about a month. And they were released yesterday. Both mods on the same day. They basically went through testing all in one day. Like I didn't even get a notice that were there. I got a notice they were in testing, and then I got a notice that they were released. All in one day. So cool. 2 more mods to add to the list that I got through testing. It's like an achievement award. My count of mods that I've gotten to make it through testing has gone up slightly. But we got two cool mods. If you haven't seen them, check them out. We have the hide NPC mod, which is a relatively simple mod that just hides the NPCs. You're tired of them creeping at you, especially on the Highlands Kinlaid map. Just use this mod and they're gone. Now, technically they're not gone. Secret, they're still there. They're just underneath the map. I just move them down by like 100 meters, so they're below the map, but they're still there. But because they're still there, that means that they can still have contracts. You can still get contract system to work. Their name still shows up, because some of the other more hacky ways of removing NPCs that some other people have posted kind of messed with the NPC and contract system. And since I'm a big believer of contracts, that couldn't stand. So I set it up and I figured it out how to do it. And I just basically told the game to move them. I told the game, said, hey, find all the NPCs and move them. Move them below the map, because they're no longer necessary. Now I'm still plowing here because I don't want to go too fast. So I actually want it to be holding me back, because I want to make a nice clean line that'll be the outline for my new field. And then we're going to go around one more time, and we can actually get the game to go around one more time to make sure that it's set up right. And then the other mod that got released today was something that is one of those things that I made a mod for that should have been part of the base game. It really should have. And I've talked to you guys multiple times now about CP2. Yes. Thank you. Now raise up. Expand. Create. Oh, CP1 could be deleted. Delete custom field CP1. Yes. We want CP2. And then we're going to come in here. Custom field. No. Create job. I'm in the vehicle. Okay, let's try again. Create job, CP fieldwork, CP2, fieldwork settings, as long as number of headlands, 1, 2, whatever, it doesn't matter. Headland direction, we're going to do counterclockwise because we're already facing counterclockwise. And then we're going to overlap -1. Now, there's a reason for that, and I'll show you why. Generate fieldwork course. We're not actually going to run the whole course. We're only going to run part of it. But this might take a minute because it's a 4x map and it's a giant field. So start. And it already messed up my field. It already messed up my field. Why did you turn like that, you jerk? I'm grumpy already. Okay, we'll start from here. I think it's just because he was already there. And so basically the -1 sticks the plow out a little bit into the course that I already plowed. And so he's going to plow just a little bit more of a border around the whole field. And then I'm going to get the big bud to come in using this same course outline, but do a positive margin. So it'll overlap also, and it should get everything. That's kind of the idea, right? But that's why we're plowing like this. That's why we've got this guy doing one more border just to protect our field. And we still have to, we're gonna have to get out and fix what the game just totally messed up. It totally messed up my perfect edges. No, I don't want that. Construction. I mean, it's not much, but that's just too close to the tree. You know what I'm saying? Hey, Jake, how's it going? Welcome in. I saw you coming in there. Boopity boop. And we don't have perfect edge, even though I tried to use it. Close enough. All right. We fixed that. This guy is doing its work. He's going around the outside border of the map. And then we're going to run over and get the big bud ready. Welcome in, Jake. How's the are we done with the map changes? I know you were doing some changes to Homestead. Are we done with that? I hope so. From what I saw, it's looking pretty awesome. Oh, cool! I heard he actually talked to him in a stream the other night, and he was saying the same, that he was going to meet you at the Keystone Farm show, and he was excited about it. All right, so McGarrett mentioned earlier that I could have done with this plow, I could have set it up so that you could switch as a work mode between a plow and a cultivator. Now, I didn't do that because, and I'll show you why, just to answer McGarrett's thing that he brought up earlier. Where is it? Flex coil. So the flex coil, when you choose your mode, it has a tool type selection. And when it does the tool type selection, it changes the mode of the thing. So this thing can both plow and cultivate. So you have a cultivator, which is just a cultivator. And as you can see, if we look at it, it has like the cultivator spades, like the deep cultivation spades. And it has the tines at the back, which create the cultivation look. And it also has a subsoiler state, which is the deep subsoiler looking tines, but also still has the cultivation state at the back. And what this actually does is the front part of the plow plows, and then the back part of the plow cultivates. These things sticking off the back cultivate, and which leaves a cultivated state, but it's plowing and cultivating at the same time. Personally, I'm not usually a fan of dual state things because it just causes problems. And so all I did was make it a small edit to add one more tool type that was basically this one, the subsoiler, but without the cultivator active. So there's no cultivator thing at the back. Super minor edit. Now the work mode thing, like the Batwing, obviously would be possible, but not fun. That actually takes a significant amount of work to get to work properly. It's really tough. So let's do multiple tools. We're going to do 2 headlands. We're going to do a positive margin. No, that's a negative margin. We're going to do like a 4 meter positive margin. So there's no way it's going to touch the part that we already did. And then we're going to set the direction to be manual 0, which means it's going to go up and down. We want it to go vertically north and south. And then to make it work well on corners, I don't think we need to do that. I think we'll see if we have to skip rows or not. I don't think we do. I think that'll work fine. So we'll generate this course. And so we'll be running 2 courses on one on top of the other, which is fine. 2 different vehicles doing 2 different tasks. And we'll go right here and we're going to do start job. And now he's going to go. What are you doing, dude? Are you turning around? Oh, you know what? He's turning around. That's what he's doing. I was like, don't you dare mess up my field. Don't you dare. I don't want this big, massive thing to mess up my field. First waypoint, go. Why are you folding? Don't fold up. That's stupid. The start of your field is right here. This thing takes forever to fold and unfold. I don't want to do that. Yeah, so the work mode thing, the way the work mode thing works is basically the vehicle is set up when you have the work mode, hot work mode swapping. Basically, the way it works is whatever vehicle that has multiple things that it can do, it's doing all of those things all the time. Those things are always working. Okay, that's still not working. Let's back up. Why? Oh my gosh. Let's try one more time. There we go. I had to turn create field on. So the way the work mode thing works, right, is when it's doing a work mode switch, what's happening is it's doing all of the things all the time. So my Batwing technically is a mower, a brush hog, a mulcher, and a stump grinder all the time. All of those things are always on, but they don't, quote unquote, what is that guy doing? They don't activate, quote unquote, activate, because that's fine. I'll just let him go. They don't activate because one of the things that's needed for a work mode to work is it needs a ground reference contact. So the way I'm getting it to switch between work modes is I take the ground reference node and I move it using an animation. So the animation causes the ground reference node to change completely, and I'm moving it down below the map. So it no longer activates that function, let's say mower function, when the mower ground reference node is 3 meters away. It can't. It has to be within a certain distance, which is defined by the XML. And so what I'm doing is I created an animation that moves the ground reference nodes up and down. And so when I activate mower, it moves the stump cutter node below the map, and it moves the mulcher mode below the map, and it moves the brush cutter mode below the map. And when I switch to brush cutter, it moves the brush cutter one up, keeps the mower one, but doesn't move the stump cutter, and vice versa. And that's essentially how that animation works. And that's how it's able to have multiple functions, but kind of dynamically switch between them, right? That's just the way it's set up. That's how it works. That's just kind of a cool feature, right? This thing is a beast. Look at it. It's definitely a beast. But we need to get over here to this guy, the other one, before he starts causing problems. Enter vehicle. He's going to start causing problems real soon. See, he's already causing problems. H. Stop. Clear course. We're going to do the rest ourselves. Thank you. He was actually assigned to the wrong course. He was assigned to the course we used to mow, not the course we used to plow. So he just changed the shape of our field. Because there was a CP1 and a CP2, we generated his course without realizing it, using CP1, which was the one we used to mow, instead of CP2, which is the one we wanted to use for plowing. And I didn't realize it until just now. Or until I saw him go around where the construction yard was, or the yard for the... what's it called? Sawmill. That's the word I'm looking for. And so I can't actually take credit for that bit of animation logic. Somebody else, I believe it was, I want to say it was Schultz Modding, did it on a his own mower in FS22, but he never released it for some reason. I'm not sure why. And then I reused some of that same logic on multiple other mowers because I like the idea. I especially like the idea of being able to switch to be able to have it be a brush hog or not. But once I got the Batwing, and since the Batwing was already a mulcher, that's when I started adding the mulcher function, and which was because of because the mower that I used for the Batwing was already in base game, was as a mulcher. And then I started to realize that I could just use it for stump cutting, which was kind of what makes it awesome, is the stump cutting function. In all honesty, that's my favorite part about it. And we do have an update coming out for the Batwing that increases the stump cutting blade radius so that you can just drive up to stumps and it doesn't get caught on them. So there's different blades that only show up when it's in stump cutting mode. And this field is, I thought this field was big, but looking at the swath that flex coil is actually cutting, we're going to be done in no time. I mean, look at it. It's like, what's that thing? 23, 24 meters, something like that. It's a trip. And I'm proud to help other modders. I don't know if people know that or not, but I'm very proud to help other modders, and I don't really talk about it very much. But I do help other modders release their mods and get them out. Like this mod from Ridiculous Dominic, I helped him bring it to 25. Like the fact that the animations work on the tines, I helped him fix that and make sure it was working. The animations for the mower, his double bar mower, I was the one who made those animations and made them work. I really enjoy helping out other modders and helping either teach modders new things, or in some cases helping them test, debug, fix, and help things out. So if you hear that I'm not focusing on my own mods, and a lot of times it's because I'm trying to help other people with their stuff too. I want everyone to be successful around me. That's really what I want. It's not just I want to be successful. I want everyone around me to be successful too. That's pretty important to me. So, oh, thanks, Jake. I like helping. I helped Jake test his homestead map. I believe I helped him test Strasbourg too. Provided some feedback and helped him make his maps better. So I hope that works. And I really hope that goes through testing fast, Jake. We could use more American forestry / wilderness style maps. I think that's something that we're kind of missing a little bit in the game right now, and I'm really excited to see your map, your new map, Homestead, which is going to be that forestry / wilderness style map, come out. And I hope everyone loves it because it's going to have a lot of trees. It's going to have a lot of cool stuff. I'm not really liking how this hill is affecting this field. Let's fix that. Let's go here. Sculpting. Like this hump right here is too much for me. Can I lower it? It's not letting me. Let's smooth out this hump a little bit. I actually think we're going to cut out that part because it's going to make the swather have a really hard time. We're going to paint in grass. We're going to literally draw in our field. Draw in our field with the mouse. There's a good view of what I want. Yeah, there we go. That's good. To fix the sawmill, I had to add like a dozen paintable textures to the map. Because the map didn't have the same... The map didn't basically have... It didn't have the ground cover that's in the forest by default. No! What are you doing? What's going on? Like, while I'm fixing it, the big butt is messing it up. It's like, dude, no, don't mess up my map. It's costing me money, dude. Don't you dare put that plow down. No, actually, you know, I will come over in that corner, I think. Yeah, maybe. He sensed that it wasn't plowed for that split second where it wasn't plowed. And he's like, I need to fix that. What a jerk. Oh. Oh, I guess I set him on 0. No, he's still doing his headlands. That guy's still doing the 2 headlands. I don't know why I told him to do 2 headlands. I don't think he needs 2 headlands. Oh well. Yeah, so CP2, we can actually probably delete CP2, but I'm going to let that route finish before I delete CP2, because then as soon as this guy's done, I'm just going to use the plowed outline of the field for any remaining field definitions. And see, like this side, this line over here is messed up too. That extra CP1 totally messed me up. Totally messed up all my hard work. What depends on how close the water plane? Oh, yeah. I think that's an awesome idea. That's like a No Man's Land thing that not many people knew about, but the No Man's Land from 22 had a full map water plane. No one really knew about it because there was only that one pond in the middle of the map, but the full map water plane means that if you terraform or use terraforming tools like Terraform, you can actually dig a lake. And I forget who it was. but there was someone who in one of their first videos, was it Zorch? It might not have been, it might have been Zorch. I don't remember who it was, but there was someone who like started out his career. No, it wasn't Zorch. It was someone who doesn't make videos anymore, unfortunately, or I haven't seen videos from them in a really long time. It was this lady who was a train conductor in the Netherlands. Like that's what she did for a full-time job, and then she found Farm Sim, and she was releasing some videos. I'll have to look up her account and put it in the show notes, right? But she made a video where she used the on PS5, no less. She used the in-game digging tools and dug a massive, really deep lake in the game, and then took that massive deep lake and made a farm at the bottom of the lake with animals and everything, and decorated it all nice. And she had a really great sense of humor. I thought her videos were great, but I haven't seen videos from her in a very long time, so I don't know if she's still around. I'll have to see if I can find those videos. They were really awesome, but that was kind of like the use case, or the only other person I saw ever really use the full map water plane to their advantage, right? But yeah, like some people are building like golf courses and stuff like that. Totally. Terraform is fun, and Terraform is a lot of fun. I did play with a bit of Terraform when it first came out on one of my all-time favorite maps that I've played 2 or 3 different playthroughs on, which was one of the first maps that publicly came out with Terraform and had Terraform related features as part of the map release, which was that was called, I can't think of it now. It's the 4X map. What was the 4X map that had Terraform? It was one of the first things that had a gold mine. Not Yukon Valley. 4X. It was like a Colorado map or something, or Montana, or... Not one of DJ Modding's maps. It was by... Can't think of the name of the map right now. I'll think of it. But anyways, it was one of the first maps that had a gold mine. One of the first maps that had Terraform. It had all kinds of firsts on that map. Okay. That guy's going to be here for cleanup, in case we need cleanup. And then we need to tab through all of our vehicles, because we have too many vehicles. We don't need that. We don't need that. We don't need that. Don't need that. That. This is close enough. We do need this guy, because we're gonna have to stone pick. Why can't I think of the name of that map? It's actually bothering me that I can't think of it right now. It was one of the first 4X maps to make it to Mod Hub. Farm Sim Guy did a Gold Rush type series on it, like first person playthrough series on it. Can't think of it. Can't think of the name right now for some reason. I don't know why. Hey Deep South, welcome in. Thanks for running in. Then we're gonna stone pick, because we always do all the things. So we're gonna stone pick while the big bud is doing the rest of the plowing. The name of the map is on the tip of my tongue. Everyone and their mother played on that map. Bruce played on that map a ton. Bruce would know. Had a bunch of open space, open prairie kind of land. And then it had a mine in the top left corner of the map. And it had farm in the middle, like a bunch of farming land in the middle. Something valley. Now it's pissing me off and I'm gonna have to figure it out. If anyone knows, you can tell me in a second. FS22 4X maps best. Elk Mountain. That was easy enough. Elk Mountain, Wyoming. That's the one I was thinking of. And apparently the guy who did Elk Mountain, he was actually working on, before, when FS25 came out, he was working on a 2X, like, Elk River map that I haven't seen anything about. I don't know if he's still modding or still map making. But he made great maps. Elk Mountain was one of my favorite maps. Wanderlust Studios. Thank you, Jake. Yeah, I follow him on YouTube and all that kind of stuff, and he was actually playing one of the reasons I got into Icarus was he was playing Icarus for a little while too. PAX Day, yeah, that's the other game he was playing. It was a game that looked a lot like Icarus. It had a really cool building engine in it. Anyways, I don't even remember why we're talking about it. All right, I think this is going to be the final shape of our field. Let's paint the grass in that we started doing earlier, but we got messed up because the harvester took over for me. Oh, I just realized my sprayer is still working. VPW Stone Picker for the win. I'm gonna pause and check the sprayer and get him moving. He's stuck over here. Where are we gonna go with the sprayer? Enter vehicle. Let's close him up. He needs to go to field 75. Where's field 75? Other side of the map. I'm just gonna have him teleport. 70. Where is 75? 74, 76. Why does it skip over 75? The field numbering on this map is all kind of cattywampus. There we go. Sorry, back at it. And as you can see, the big, huge thing with the way it turns around and stuff like that, it's missing little bits. So we are going to need to clean up after the, I think he's probably set to lower later, early. We can fix that actually. And then come in here. Come in here. Late, early. Come back over here. Enter vehicle. Getting some stone picking done. We may have to exit the map, exit the game, and reload the map to be able to get this new field to show up for the game, because with the way 4X maps redraw, sometimes they don't redraw properly. Causes all kinds of problems. Hey Lane, welcome in. Thanks for coming in. How are you and your brother doing? Thanks for dropping by. We're on Judith Plains tonight. We're making a gigantic field that would not have been possible without editing the map. So we're not doing something that anyone on a console could have ever thought of, even though this map never came out for console. We're gonna jump into the Puma. Oh, look at that. Right into the Puma, right away. And go plow a few spots that the big plow missed. Don't forget to get that like button, y'all. Make sure YouTube knows what you like, what's going on. It helps share my content out for more people. Greatly appreciate that. This field is bigger than I expected. We're gonna have to compare once this is done whether this field, which is the gonna be a clover field, or the prairie grass field, which one is actually bigger. Because both of them are pretty freaking huge now. And I don't know which one's bigger. I suspect this one might be. Even though it's not like directly bigger. It's sinuous. So I think it expands to much. It's gonna have more land area. But I don't know. I don't know. By the way, that late early setting, as you can see, he's not missing the little corner bits anymore. He's going right through them. So he's doing great. And then let's wait for the map to draw. If we go into this, it's like it only got like the border that the one plow did. It's not seeing this as plowed land. The same thing happened last time when I did this field. When I did this field, the same thing happened, where it didn't show up right away when I'm using that big plow. I don't know what's going on with that big plow, but it doesn't show up what it plows. As you can see here, it's only showing what was plowed with the plow I'm using now, and it's even not showing the little bits and pieces in the middle. Like it's like I don't know how to get it to like get the engine to re-evaluate where I've plowed. It shows where the rocks are. All right. We're going to go to the other end and start working on cleaning up the stones on the other end. This end is still kind of variable because the plow is still going. I mean, look at that behemoth go. That seems freaking huge. And we're just going to manually do it. Shouldn't take that long. Not at like a 30-meter working width. Boopity boop. So big. I'm just gonna pick a random angle. And do that. The interesting thing is none of this land on Judith Plains is normally buyable. So DJ Modding didn't make any of this area buyable at all. So I may be the first person to actually build a field here. Because he never intended for anyone to ever own this area or do anything with it, so. And that's the thing that I don't get about a lot of maps. And this is, and we've talked about this before, but it always makes me smile. Let's put it a different way. It always makes me smile when I find a map that you can buy everything. And the farmland difficulty map, if you guys don't know, is actually one of two similar mods. So the farmland difficulty map mod, which is the other mod that got released today, it will rescale the cost of buying a field. Right? And so it basically just sets the field cost for buying a field based on the economy level that you're playing in. So as if like the full price for the field, which which everyone is used to, we're going to assume that that's in hard mode. So if we apply the game's default scale, which is, which I believe is 60% and 30%. That's the default scale that comes in the game. Where if you're switching from hard mode to normal mode is 60% of hard mode. So the cost is 60% when you're buying something. If you're switching from normal mode or when you're switching from hard mode to easy mode is 30% of the cost of buying something that's in hard mode. This is a scale that's built into the game. It's called the game's economy. It's part of the game's economy, and it was broken for a long time. If you've been here long enough, you've heard me rant about the fact that the economy scale was broken for a very, very long time. It just got fixed with the Highlands DLC. So I'm really happy to see that it was finally fixed. But when it got fixed, I just realized at one point, I'm like, well, why doesn't the price of the farmland also change? When you change your price scale, like why doesn't the farmland also change? And so that's how I made that mod. I'm also working on a big brother mod to the farmland cost by difficulty mod that's called the farmland manipulator, and it's going to let you do much more fine-grained control where you can set the price per hectare for the whole map. So let's say for Judith Plains, I think Judith Plains is one of the few that's actually set logically for real life. But let's say for Riverbend Springs, right? Riverbend Springs has the default setting of $60,000 per hectare for the cost of the farmland on Riverbend Springs, right? That's just how it's set up. But let's say that you found the real life location for Riverbend Springs and you found out that that's just super overpriced for that area in the real world, and you want it to be 15,000 per hectare. The farmland cost by difficulty doesn't really affect that. You still want to play in hard mode, which affects your sale prices and your buying prices for everything. But you do want the actual economy, the cost of fields, to be set to what it actually is in real life. And so the Big Brother mod will actually have that functionality where you'll be able to set the price per hectare to whatever number you want. And you'll be able to go into each individual field, farmland, on a map and be able to set its individual price scale. So the way the game works is your overall map is set to a certain cost per hectare, and then each individual farmland has a multiplier. Most of them are set to 1. Sometimes you get one that's set to 2, which means that piece of farmland is twice as expensive as any other piece of farmland is per hectare. And the game will automatically calculate the cost based on the price per hectare and then the price factor, which is in each individual field has a factor. And what this other mod that I'm working on will do is it will actually allow you to set the factor for each individual field, which is super awesome and super valuable. And then the other thing that I'm hoping I can get to work, I'm not sure yet, but I'm hoping I can actually make the unbuyable land buyable. So the way maps are built, there is a field number 255, I believe. It's either 254 or 255, I forget. I think it's 255, or don't quote me on that. I think it's 254. And 254 is the unbuyable land. It's listed when you make a map as the unbuyable land. And I'm hoping to actually make the unbuyable land buyable with that mod. So it should allow any player to own anything, to own the entire map, and then set the individual value of every single piece of farmland, which is something that's one of those things that whenever I play a map, and you guys have seen me do this multiple times now, I go in and I edit the maps to make everything buyable, because I want to be able to do stuff like what I'm doing right here. I want to be able to customize the map to my liking in any way I want. Like, I don't want to have to be bound by either what the map maker decided that I should be able to play with, or by what they didn't intentionally set, but they just didn't really care. Like, I don't want to be bound by that stuff. I want to be able to have complete freedom. And so I'm hoping to make a mod that'll apply those kind of stuff to every map automatically. And it won't allow you to redraw farmlands and fix them, but it should allow you to be able to indirectly buy all the land, or get all of the unbuyable land for free, or whatever it is. We'll figure out how to get that to work. And then one of the other suggestions that I got from one of my channel members today was to add in a setting that penalizes people for field flipping, where you buy a field, you harvest the field, and then you sell that field in the same day. And so I'll be adding a setting to that mod that basically doesn't get them in trouble, but will give them a hard time for field flipping, or they'll lose some of the value of the field. So if you try to sell back a field in the same day, it will penalize you for trying to sell it back in the same day, because the only reason you do that is you're field flipping. Logically do that. You might have bought something by accident, but we can track the time where if you sell it back within 15 minutes, you get the full value back. But if you sell it back with, an hour later, you get penalized for field flipping. One of the other things I'd like to be able to do, and I don't know if this is going to be possible or something I can include, but there was a mod in 22, which hasn't come out in 25 yet, that it's some level randomized field prices, allowing there to be kind of like a month-to-month markup or discount for the cost of individual fields that was calculated randomly. I'd really love to be able to kind of build my own version of that and build it into the mod, because I like that idea of, I want to buy that land, but I'm going to wait for it to go on sale. And so just like our market for selling and buying crops and the results of harvesting crops fluctuates over time, I think it would be super cool if field prices fluctuate over time. This is all kind of how the farmland system works, and just my take on modifying it and giving people options to change their gameplay. Now, this guy is in my way, and we don't need this plow anymore. We're going to use the Steiger to seed. So we're just going to move this over here for now. We're going to park it not on the alfalfa, because that's kind of in the way. I don't know where to park stuff lately. I'm running out of space for everything, and we're going to have to put in some more storage sheds. And I have an idea what I want to do. I'll show you that idea in a minute. But I want to get to these. Come on. Not there. Not you. Not you. Not you. Here. Now that we're done plowing, I don't know if you can actually detect that. If I can detect that, Farmer G, that would be pretty freaking awesome. In all honesty, that would be pretty awesome if I can figure that part out. I would love to be able to figure that out. Right? If the field that's in that farmland has a harvestable, harvest-ready crop, that the cost of the field goes up. But if it's not harvest-ready, it goes down based on the contents within that land. That's actually a cool idea. I like that idea. Maybe we do that as an option. Okay, let's X out here. CP2, delete, CP2. I'm going to come in here and go in. Now, we might have to exit out of the game for this to work. No. What do I want to do? I want to do this. And I want to do generate fieldwork course. It is detecting the outline of the field, I think. Yeah, who knows what that's doing? Whatever, start job. So this guy's going to lime, and then I'm going to seed over the limed field as soon as I'm done stone picking. And since I don't want to tab through everything all over again, I'm just going to come over here and just go into this vehicle quick. So much work to do. I like that idea, though, where Farmer G, I really, really like that idea. And I'll, you know, I'll give you credit for it, for coming up with that idea. I do like that idea. It's, instead of like penalizing someone. Ooh. What if it was just a setting where we directly tied the price scale of the farmland to the harvest state of the field inside that farmland? So if there's no farmland, the land is actually pretty cheap. But if there is farmland and it has a crop in it and it's like growth stage 3, then that defines the scale of the cost of that field. But if it's harvest ready, it's the most expensive because you're actually going to make money off of that field. But if we tie both the buying and selling price to the crop state, that would indirectly cause you to get penalized for field flipping, because when you go to sell the field, there would no longer be a crop in the field, which means it would be worth less, which means you're going to get penalized for field flipping indirectly if I can figure out how to tie the price of the field directly to the crop state of that field. Now, we wouldn't do it on a per crop basis. Like, I wouldn't make a wheat field more valuable than a barley field. I would just look at like the harvest state of the field. But I think we actually might be able to do that because of the new policy in FS25, where every farm, you can only have one field per farmland. So you could never have two fields in a single farmland. It's always one field per farmland. That's a requirement of FS25 if you didn't know. That's one of the new limitations that they did. And I think for some of these kind of same reasons, where you can't have more than one field in a farmland. Before, you could like make the home farm and have one big farmland and have 2 or 3 different crop fields in it. You can't do that anymore. It's one field defined in each farmland, which is why you get a lot of maps nowadays where the farmland is literally just the field itself. But since it's only one field per farmland, logically, I should be able to leverage that to be able to get the field that's inside that farmland and then determine what crop is in that field and the harvest date of it, and then use that to calculate the value of that field. Ooh, that's super interesting. And that's a cool way of doing the kind of the same thing we were talking about earlier, where you're getting penalized. But if you flip a field, you're going to pay money for the field. And then when you sell it right after flipping it, you're not going to get all your money back, because it's going to be lower value. And then your profit margin for flipping fields, if you still wanted to do that, would then be the difference between how much we penalize you for the cost of the field versus how much profit you'd make off of doing the field flipping in the first place. And you still might make money depending on the crop. And the time you put into field flipping. But if we tied those two things together, then it puts a lot more risk, I guess, into field flipping. That's a cool idea. I like that. It's not that I want to penalize people for field flipping. I field flip every once in a while. I remember I used to do that in FS22. But it will not just a major profit, but think about it this way, right? Some crops are actually, they sell really well. Like, I forget, sugar beets or something like that is the most, you make the most profit off of sugar beets, right? So if you were to field flip a sugar beet field, and then you want to put in the work to harvest and sell those sugar beets, which is going to take, unless you're using Colossus equipment, it's going to take you a good amount of time, then that could be your profit margin. And it might be worth it, right? But if you just do it on like a barley field, then your only profit is going to be either using that barley for your own animals or selling it, and or the cost or profit you can make from the straw. And so potentially you could make more if you like turn that barley into alcohol or something like that, or turn it into flour and then into bread, and then you might make more money doing it that way. So it might still be worth it, but just not as much. It would be a more realistic economy, right? Yeah, that's true. That's true, Farmer G. We could base the field state on anything that's set in the system for the field states. So you could base the cost of the field on, okay, is there a field? Yes or no? That's the lowest. If it's yes, then that's the lowest. Cheap. Without a field, that's the lowest value. And then having a field is, +1. And then having a field that's also plowed or cultivated, +2. It has no weeds, +3. If it's fertilized in lime, +4 and 5, right? And so you could, quickly and easily, and the key here is programmatically calculate all that, right? And that's the key. And all of these script mods, they only work because those things can be calculated programmatically. And so that's what makes a script mod is because it's a script. It's doing some kind of calculation runtime in the game's engine. That's why script mods don't exist on console, because you could easily write a script mod that takes the user's information and uploads it to the internet. You could easily write a script mod that does that. And there have been a few of them where people included script mods inside like King Mods style downloads, where when you played it in your game, it actually deleted your save games or it did something malicious. That's why script mods are not allowed on PC, because Giants doesn't actually verify them in the same way that, other companies would verify script-based mods. And I'm sure that's why, because it's a huge risk. I'm trying to find the clover. There we go. Okay, so this one, we're going to start seeding. The limer is still liming, or the lime tractor is still spreading lime. We are going to go ahead and create fieldwork course. We have like courses on top of courses on top of courses. We're going to start clearing some of those courses soon. Generate. I believe this guy still has settings for skipping rows, right? Yes. Start job. Okay. So this guy is going to seed clover in this field, which is the whole goal of this whole idea here, is to seed clover into the field. Now this guy runs pretty slow. We can speed him up a little bit just to make this not take so long. Let's start tabbing through and clearing courses. Next that. This one's still running. Let's clear this course. Clear that course. clear that course. It's hard to tell, but some of these things actually have courses already set on them, and the fact there's multiple courses stacked on top of each other is really annoying me right now. And then clear this course. I don't even know where that course was. This guy doesn't have a course. This guy does. Okay, so he's just going to keep going, doing his thing. It's going to take like 2 hours to see this field. So we're not going to sit through all of that. We'll just get it started and go from there. Next thing we have to do, and then once the field is seeded, we're going to have to roll it, which is going to take time. So we already have the tractor somewhere here set up for rolling. Not that one. Not that one. Don't worry, Condor. I'll come back to you. Here we go. Actually, I don't want this. Yeah, I'll do this guy on the roller. The other one doesn't have enough power. Well, this guy on the roller, and then over here, we'll get this guy right here in the 1455 XL. I actually really like this tractor. Mainly because I edited it and made it awesome. And this guy is going to have to... We're going to have to use our auger wagon to bring fertilizer out to the field. Because we're going to run out. Because unfortunately we're using precision farming. And because we're using precision farming, it goes through fertilizer. It's fun to do. The seeds go really slow. Actually, with the clover, the seeds are going down almost faster than the fertilizer. That might be an issue. But I mean, seriously, folks, look at the size of this field. It's ginormous. So my plan next, this is my next plan. I'll show you my next plan, which I may do off stream, and I'll show you the result of it because it's going to take some time. Is right here in this kind of spot of land here. There's kind of a little area here. I want to add in a couple of these tunnel things. If we go to the bigger one, 30, as you can see, like this tunnel thing, perfect size for the next set, right? So we're just gonna, this amount of land to have here, I'm gonna have to flatten it out and deal with that kind of stuff to be able to put in a couple of these tunnels. And I'm gonna put in one right here for the next set, and then I'll put in like maybe 2 up here side by side for the swather and our air seeder train, and put them here. But I'm not going to put them down now because these are green, and I don't like green. I want them to be black, so that means I have to edit the mod. But we will do that eventually, and we'll get that done. Yeah, we could, McGarrett. I know that we were talking about that before. Like, it could be possible to base it on crop type, and also base it on the. You could do all kinds of math to base on, like, okay, there's wheat in this field, and there's this much land in the field, which means that this field could possibly generate roughly this much profit. So make sure we subtract that much profit from the field cost, but that's too much math. I mean, yes, it's a script mod. Yes, it's already going to be pretty complex. I would rather spend my time adding complexity for functionality and not adding math complexity, because math complexity is just kills your brain, right? While it would be possible, yes, and is a very good idea, I agree. I'm not sure how worthwhile it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, who's it going to benefit? I still want people to make it so you can field flip. Or maybe certain crops, it won't be worthwhile to field flip anymore, and certain ones will. Maybe it'll just magically work out that, you know, root crops, it'll still totally be worth it to field flip, but regular crops, it won't be worthwhile to field flip. I don't know. It'll just happen. But I don't even know if I can actually tie the cost or whatever to the value, to the thing. Like, I don't even know if that's possible yet. So we're going to have to figure that out. I need another auger. Yeah, exactly. They're reasonably balanced. It still might be possible, but I think it's a cool idea. I do definitely like the idea of tying the value of the land a little bit to what's in the field. I do really, really like that. I think that's a really elegant solution for the indirect results of preventing field flipping. I think that's a very elegant solution to a problem that didn't exist for anyone else because we were the ones thinking about it. We're going to need a second auger. I don't have a second auger, do I? I don't think so. Let's rent an auger. Is there a small auger wagon? Why are all the auger wagons so freaking huge? Like, I don't have a seed tender mod, nor do I want to look for one. Lease, yes. Okay. Can this thing pull it? You know what? This one in here should be able to pull it. This one should be able to pull it. This is the one I usually mow with. I love how I have all kinds of different, like, open tractors. I've gotten really to... In this playthrough, I've spent a lot of time working with the older equipment and stuff that just looks older. Open. What's going on here? Open the cover. Oh, Z? Why is it not N? That's the open cover button. Let's buy some seeds. Oh, wait, actually... Note to self, I already have seeds. I have a pile of seeds just sitting here, not doing anything that I haven't used, which should be about enough to fill the air cart. Not totally. We'll just use that. We'll use these pallets that have just been sitting here for like 6 months. Yeah, and maybe it's like, and maybe it's a like maybe the value goes up if the value goes, the highest value of a field is when there's harvest ready crop, but everything else is a penalty to the price. Everything else lowers the price. So, you know what I mean? Like, maybe it's worthwhile to sell a field back when it's harvest ready. If like I have this field that's harvest ready, I don't need that, but sell it back and you're going to get more profit because there's crop in it. Like, that's something to think about too, right? I don't know why anyone would do that, but that does add a level of realism to the farmland prices. Yeah, that is the answer, McGarrett. Standards in farm sim are just general suggestions. They're not like what is meant to be followed. I mean, just look at crop names. Like, alfalfa is not a standard crop name. There's a bunch of maps that have it listed as lucerne, which is the French version, the French word for alfalfa. The original FS22 maps that had alfalfa on it all were listed as lucerne, Lucerne. And I believe that one of the first maps that came out with alfalfa, which was NF Marsh, had it listed as lucerne, not alfalfa, which is the English spelling. Where's my spreader truck? Isn't there supposed to be a spreader truck somewhere? This looks weird. Tractor, worker are not aligned at all. Is this the spreader truck? Oh, it is. Enter vehicle. You're a doofus. The spreader truck got caught on the it got caught on the thing and was getting dragged along. I was like, where's my truck? That was awesome. Back to work, doofus. That's what you get for making really wide turns and you don't need to. Nope, wrong one. That was awesome. That made my day. Oh, you know, we should have done. I'm not going to do it now because it'll totally mess up the lime spreading process. But we should have bought values for this field. Precision farming. Yes, precision farming doesn't see this as a field yet. So I can't buy the results. So I'm gonna have to exit the game and go back in before I can buy the field precision farming numbers. Oh wow, this is actually really low on lime. Oh my gosh. This truck takes like 100,000 liters of lime, which is actually good and bad. It's good because it takes 100,000 liters of lime. It's bad because even with my fill station, to fill it up costs like 120K. Like, it's expensive as hell. To fill this thing up. And we don't get enough stones off the field to make enough lime to make the stone processing plant worth it. How's he doing? We have 3,000 liters of clover seeds left. And we have 2,800 liters of solid fertilizer left in that air cart. So he might be able to get through another headland pass. I think he's doing 3 headlands. He does look stuck though, doesn't he? Let's go look. He looks stuck. Are you stuck? Yeah, you're totally stuck. Totally stuck. You can't back up with an air cart. Isn't there a course play setting for that? Don't back up, you idiot. There should be a course play setting for that. And that's what they should call it. They should call it the don't back up, you idiot setting. Only turning in field activated. Allow reverse for pathfinding. Deactivated. Allow pathfinder in turns. That's fine. Okay, I think that's what I needed. I need to tell him not to reverse ever. Because you can't reverse with an air cart, dude. Welcome in, Farmer Groot. I haven't seen you in a while. Thanks for coming in and joining the stream. We are building one of our biggest fields yet, but unfortunately the game doesn't see the field yet, so I don't know how big it is. Like, it just won't redraw. Like, it's just... Like, here's the outline of it. It's nowhere near as big as this field. And I don't think it's going to be as big as this field. It might. I don't think so, though. But, yeah, this is our new field. We don't know how big it is, though, yet. Because, yeah, yeah, the game doesn't know that it's there. Even though we're seeding it. No, don't reverse. No, you can't reverse. I just told you not to reverse. Don't you listen? I'm doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. I was actually pretty happy. I got 2 mods released yesterday. Was that today? No, that was yesterday. I got 2 mods released, which is pretty cool. I had submitted those back in December, so it was nice to see them finally make it out. I've got a bunch more that I have kind of on my plate. Right now, I've got 2 or 3 that are almost ready to go. I just need to work through the translations in the mod desk and then get them out and create screenshots. One of them I just added recently, which I don't think is on this playthrough. And I'm going to do this corner myself because it's just going to struggle. Which is going to be enable default colors, which is kind of this. It's only something for me, but I don't think I have it in this playthrough. Let's actually find out if I do. I can tell real quick if I have it. If we go to small tractors, you're going to see small tractors. If we go to the Landini, the Rex 4 GT, it's like an everyday kind of silly tractor. This is a colorable tractor, right? But by default, there's only these 2 colors. You can color the tractor as long as you pick the colors that Landini wants you to pick. I don't like that. I don't like restrictions on anything. So I made a mod and this one only allows you to pick silver or black rims. Like, yes, I understand that that's brand specific. I understand that the brand wants it that way, but I don't want it that way. So I made a mod that is a script mod, obviously only for PC. But basically it enables default colors. So it enables all your normal brand specific default colors that you would get for any other mod. Like if we go into which one is colorable? We go into the Lintrack thing. Like these, Lindner Red is a brand specific color. And then all the rest of these colors, this whole color palette that you see here, the white to yellow, John Deere, JCB, Challenger, Stoughton, purple, Valvar green, Deucefar green, Fent nature green, blah, 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 right? All of those colors. All of those colors are the default colors, the system colors, the ones that are always there for any mod that has default colors turned on. It's a flag. And so I made a mod that I'm getting ready to submit that turns on default colors for every mod. I wonder if I would bet money I would bet money that it's not a big deal because he's just doing headlands. But I would bet money that I'm going to have to redo the entire course to get him to stop getting stuck in the corners like that. I'm going to do that. I'm actually going to redo that real quick. So if we come in here, clear the course. This is relatively close to where we started. We're going to come in here and we're going to do fieldwork settings. We're not going to change the fieldwork settings. Generate fieldwork course. It's going to regenerate the course that it was just did. It's going to give me basically the same course, but this one should take into account the vehicle settings. And then if we hit exit, now that we have the new course, and we manually navigate to basically where we were, which is right here. Now it's going to keep going down this line like it was, as if it was supposed to be here, and it's going to switch to the next row. It's going to go to the right. Yep. Yep. And hopefully when it gets around to those corners on the other side, it won't have any issues. But while I'm here, I should fill up the seed and fertilizer, since I have 2 tractors sitting here waiting to fill up the seed and fertilizer. And then I'll do the rest of it off stream, because you guys don't need to see me chase this thing around the field for 2 hours, filling up seed and fertilizer over and over and over. But we did get a new field in tonight, which is the whole goal of tonight's stream, was to get this field plowed, prepped, and seeded. And then we'll roll it, and then we'll have a new field for next time, which is pretty exciting. I'm actually very happy about that. And we even moved the sawmill. There we go. Oh, look at that. Into the hole. We even lined it up properly. Boopity boop. Get to use our new air cart, sort of. Into the hole. Perfect. Boopity boop. And end. And then we'll set this guy back off on its course. Switch the view to the view I like. I like this view, which kind of tells me where his next step is and doesn't go any further than that. We can check the status of our lime spreading device. Enter vehicle. Did we actually make it to the end of the stream without running out of lime? We did. Look at that. We made it to the end without running out of lime. That's pretty amazing. We don't know whether that actually spread enough lime. That's still to be determined. Whoops. This field's going to look a little funky until it actually gets seeded and rolled and actually grows the first growth layer. But like, I don't see on the map here, like if we go to soil composition, no, here, growth. Where's the lime one? Oh no, it's over here. It's precision farming, soil type, pH, nitrogen. See, we don't have any idea. I may have just spread lime, like 50,000 liters of lime, for no good reason, because precision farming wasn't active on that field. That could be a cause, and that could be a problem. The reverse problem is in the script for courseplay. Yeah, the reverse problem is in the script for courseplay. It's a courseplay thing, not an auto drive thing. I don't use auto drive on this playthrough. I just haven't spent the time to do it. I haven't actually used auto drive in FS25 at all. Let's check our contracts. Any more spraying contracts? Oh, we do. Accept contract. And then these ones, collect. Get our sprayer to work. It's time to drive all the way to the other end of the map again. Like when you're zoomed out like this, you're like, oh, that's kind of cool. That vehicle is not that big. But then when you zoom in and you realize you could drive over another vehicle like a car. That's how big this thing is. You realize how just freaking ginormous these things are. And with four-wheel steering, they're very hard to drive down the road. Maybe we turn it off. Yeah, there we go. Turn off four-wheel steering before trying to drive down the road. That sounds like a good plan. Where am I going? 17? 19. I'm going all the way back down the other end of the map again. And we're going to have to wait until the next time we play to see the results of how big our field is. Once it gets all seeded and everything, it should be fine. I hope. Hope I didn't just do all that work for nothing. Yeah, probably. Well, I bet the Giants. So I would assume, and I don't know because I've never tested it or looked into the code, but I would assume that the Giants worker is going to have. I know for a fact the Giants worker has less functionality than Courseplay. Courseplay has way more functionality, way more customization, way more features than the Giants AI workers. That's just pretty much a fact. And so I would expect that the Giants course generation logic doesn't have any affordance whatsoever for reversing with trailed tools that you can't reverse with. So that's the problem, Farmer G. I totally forgot. I didn't soil sample it. I just went ahead and plowed it and then went ahead and started seeding it. So the problem is This is the problem, right? If we look at our map, our field is right here. You can see the outline of it, but we can't see the body of it. It's not being detected. And I don't know why that's happening. I think it has to do with that plow, that super huge plow. I also have to think it has something to do with the 4X map and the fact that the game doesn't want to recalculate fields on the 4X map. I don't know if it has something to do with this map specifically. I had the same problem when working on the other field. Now, hold on. I have to navigate. Where am I going? Need to get field 19. How do I get to field 19? I have to go. There's no road to field 19. Huh. But last time when I did the other field, when I did the prairie grass field, using the same plow, using the same techniques and methods, I wasn't able to soil sample until after I exited out of the game and then came back into the game. So I actually had to do a full exit, restart the game, and then when I came back in, then it showed up. The field showed up on the map like normal and gave me the result that I was expecting. And then I was able to soil sample it and do all that stuff. But today, kind of in the heat of the moment, I just was like, oh, I have a lot of stuff to do and only exactly 2 hours to do it because that's how long my streams are. So I didn't really... I forgot about it, honestly. That's my bad. And then we just put this guy here. We can hit H for worker and just let the worker handle spraying this field. And then let's go check and make sure our air cart doesn't get caught on this corner again, which we know he will. He didn't get caught down here, so maybe he'll be fine now. Like, I want to see what kind of corner he does. Like, what kind of corner is this guy going to do when he gets the corner up here? I really don't know. I'm very curious. Because it's a hard corner. Based on the way course play is set up, it's supposed to stop seeding at the green point, and then it's supposed to navigate to the red point and continue. See, he's trying to back up again. Yeah, so I'm not going to deal with that. I can I can turn around for you. Don't worry, I got you. This is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to do a loop turn. Maybe it's the loop turn setting. There was a loop turn setting, right? I actually don't even know what this means. There you go. Back. Maybe it needed the loop turn setting. I really don't know. But anyways, I'm going to deal with this guy. I'm going to figure out how to get this finish seeding. It's probably going to take me a couple hours. But that's okay. It's dinner time. Yeah, the loop on headlands. I've never tried that setting. It's a new setting for 25. So maybe that's the right setting. I hope. But next time when we come back, maybe next week, because I kind of want to... I want to do like... My plan for this series, just so you guys know, is we're on episode 11. This is episode 11, and I want to maybe go to 20 at most. I might end earlier. But I want to get to a point where my goal for this series is to Oh, look, he's doing a loop turn. Loop turn. That's what it was, McGarrett. Thank you very much. Loop turn was the answer. See? He's doing a perfectly awesome loop turn on the headland. Look at that. He did the right thing. So anyways, my plan here is, if we look at our map, we got to look at our maps to show the plan. So our plan, if we go back out of here to the what's in these fields, right? We've got barley, lots of barley. We've got grass type crops here. We have alfalfa here. We have hay here. We have clover here. We've got hemp here. We've got linseed here, just because I wanted to see both linseed and hemp. We have a lot of barley, and I'm probably going to buy this field right here, 29, because it has corn almost ready to go, and we need the corn. And so we might buy 29, 40, 34 and turn those all into cornfields. But the goal here is whiskey. So what we want to do is, we have a bunch of barley and we had rye, and we're going to go to the whiskey plant, Jack Daniel's whiskey plant, right? Which we own. And we're going to go and we're going to create whiskey, which we need barley, corn, dry corn, rye, and water. I'm sorry, for this one we need corn, dry corn, barley, and water to make whiskey. And for the rye whiskey, we need rye, dry corn, barley, and water. So we need barley and dry corn for all of them. But this one, we just need corn and dry corn and barley. So we're going to need barley for everything, but we're going to need more corn. We don't have enough corn. So we're going to need another field or two of corn, which we'll buy and continue to do. So I want to be able to make those crops. I want to make those products. We're going to have to use the corn dryer, which we have on our farm. We haven't even touched it yet. We're going to have to harvest the corn. So we have the next set. We're going to have to get a corn header for the next set so that we can harvest the corn. We're going to have to replant this field here with rye, which is coming up in the fall. I think we should probably check that. Rye right here. Yeah, with harvest season now, we get to plant in September. So we're going to have to plant rye in this field again in September. So there's a lot more to do, but I really don't want to go more than another year or two. My goal is to be able to make the whiskey, and that's kind of my goal. We might also buy right next to the whiskey plant is a beer factory, which are productions that are unique to this map. So we might also buy the beer thing, which means that all of our barley is going to be needed, which means we might also need wheat. But we're going to get to a point where we're going to produce those things, and then we're going to call it and go to another map, because I would definitely like to play another map. I kind of have all the equipment and all the money and all the animals and everything that I would want to get in a playthrough. I already have everything. So right now I want to experience some of the productions, and then I want to move on. There's plenty of other maps that are out there, some of which I'm really, really looking forward to playing. But this is kind of our weekly thing. So we're going to finish it off over the next month or two, and then we're going to move on to something else. If you have suggestions on what to move on to, please let me know. If you have suggestions on an idea, whether we just do a let's play, or whether we do some kind of challenge, or whether we do whatever, please let me know. Let me know what you think or what you'd like to see me do. And we can go from there. So yeah, that's going to be it for me tonight. A special thank you to everyone for coming along and for coming along and watching this crazy stream. We didn't get it done, but we are on a 4X map. It takes a long time. I could be using a bigger seeder, but you know what? I'm not. Too bad. I actually like the air cart seeder just because this will be one of the last couple times we use it. Maybe we'll try to find another big case super seeder next time to seed things faster. Who knows? But a special thank you for being here. Thank you for coming along. A special thank you to our AI members. You guys keep this channel alive and make this stream and these streams weekly happen. You guys make this happen. Thank you so much for all your support. And as always, thanks for watching. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.